beautiful people, and welcome to another video. Today I wanted to talk to you all kind of like, I wouldn't think of this as a rant, but I guess you could think of it that way. I have a lot to say, and I guess how this week has kind of gone for me has kind of built up exactly me feeling like I need to put this out there and put this idea that I have out there, and not really an idea but more of like a thought and perception on where our generation is going. And yeah, I actually have some notes on my laptop, so I'm going to be reading some of those as I talk to you. So I'll first say like what exactly this video is about, because it's kind of random. I wasn't really planning on making a video today, but I have felt so called to share this that I just felt like I needed to. So this video is going to be a lot about eating disorders and the perception of eating disorders. And I think that people focus so much on the severity of an eating disorder that they don't realize how common in individuals it actually is. And this didn't really hit me until recently when I was talking with some friends, and I realized that I may have had an eating disorder, but I'm not the only one. And what frustrates me is that there's so many people out there that display signs of an eating disorder that don't say anything because they don't know any better and they don't understand what an eating disorder is. I mean, so many people think that eating disorders are just, oh, she doesn't eat. Oh, she severely restricts her calories. She's afraid of food. But it's so much deeper than that. It's, first of all, there's so many different versions of an eating disorder, such as bulimia, anorexia, binge eating disorder, orthorexia, diabulimia, and there continues to be different discoveries on different types of eating disorders today, and it's still expanding in regards to what the definition of an eating disorder actually is. And in my personal experience, I've heard so many people, like friends and family, just talk about like, oh, I just tried this diet. I know someone who's been restricting and who's over-exercising, and they don't say, and in my head I'm like, clearly they have an eating disorder, but they are like so completely oblivious to it. And it puzzles me and it amazes me at the same time that society has us fooled so much so that we don't even realize what's going on with other people because we're so focused on ourselves and what society wants. And I think that's kind of what I wanted to share, is that because of technology and because of where we're at in this point of evolving as a human race, that we've gotten so sucked into using technology to communicate with people that we've forgotten how to properly do it in our physical forms, using our physical bodies. Our physical vessel was not made to just sit on a screen the whole day and upload pictures on Instagram and Snapchat and not have one ounce of human interaction in a day. Like, our bodies were made to move, and our bodies were made to give love and show affection and fight even sometimes, and we're not using that. So it creates a barrier between us being able to properly communicate with other people. And oh my god, I just lost what
that the old narrator got tired of waiting and they had to hire a new one.
I think a large part of eating disorders today is due to the weight stigma that we place on society. And I can't say that I didn't fall into that trap, because I did fall into that trap as a young teenager. And that's when my eating disorder developed. And it was hard because I had no one to tell me that I was doing the wrong thing. I had told my parents that I wanted to lose weight and I wanted to get fit and be healthy like all the people I was seeing, and they gladly supported me. They got me diet books, they helped me with different diets, they supported me when I lost weight, and it saddens me because although I'm glad I had that experience, because it taught me that I don't want other girls and other guys to go through that same thing. I want people to be aware of the signs and the symptoms of eating disorders and how it can be prevented, so that another young girl or young man in the future does not go to their parents and say, I want to lose weight, I want to look like this, and their parents gladly support them. I would want their parents to step in and say, you're beautiful and perfect just the way you are, and you don't need to change, and there must be something behind this motive that you have, whether that be body dysmorphia or body dissatisfaction, needing to appease others. There's so many different things that could be the cause of someone pursuing eating disorder behaviors, and you just don't know. And by making people more aware of what those symptoms can be, will allow that person to be able to get help so they can dive deeper into why they feel those urges to restrict or to give in to those kinds of behaviors in the first place. And I want people to know that coming out that you have an eating disorder is not a sign of weakness. It doesn't have to be severe. You don't have to be super emaciated to have an eating disorder. People can still struggle with food and disordered eating and not be emaciated. For example, I still struggle very much so with eating disorder behaviors and really healing, and although I'm so much better than I have been in the past 5 years of my life, I think this is like the best place I've ever been in since then. I just want you to know that your struggle is still valid. It doesn't, just because you're not the lowest weight you've ever been does not mean that you don't still deserve to recover and you don't still deserve to get help. And what this experience has also taught me is that you don't need validation from other people that you're struggling and that you need help. I remember when I was at the beginning, before my eating disorder really started, before it switched from binge eating to anorexia, I was at the doctor's office and my doctor weighed me, and I was at the highest weight I've ever been in, and she categorized me as overweight because for my age group I was overweight and compared to my height and stuff like that, and she based it off the BMI chart, which whatever, and she said that I needed to start losing weight or I'd develop medical issues in the future such as heart problems, diabetes, and I was scared. But furthermore, I wasn't scared of those things. I was more scared because she was calling me fat and overweight and that I needed to lose weight. When she said that, I felt like my inner demons had been validated, because it was like, oh, ha ha ha, there's even a professional telling you that you're not worthy and that you're fat and that you're not good enough. So that really brought on the onset of my eating disorder. And with people in the medical industry now finally learning about eating disorders and what they can do to help people struggling and the signs and symptoms, I think will really help with the shift, and hopefully doctors in the future won't be so blinded by the signs. And I know for me, when I was especially exercising, during my relapse, I had a very low heart rate, and a lot of the nurses that read my heart rate would always say that it was just because I was a runner, because I would always be running. And I am naturally a runner. I do run, not as much anymore, but I know that my low heart rate, deep down inside, no one ever said it to me, but I know it was also because I wasn't treating my body right and because I wasn't eating accordingly. And a low heart rate isn't just a sign of an athlete's fitness, it's a sign of also an eating disorder. Because when you have an eating disorder and you starve your body begins to shut down, and that causes your heart rate to slow down in order to preserve what it has, and so it's able to pump, because it can't pump optimally if it has nothing to run off of. I feel like I just threw a bunch of information, but basically what I was trying to say was that I really hope the awareness of eating disorders in the community changes. Because yes, we have NEDA, we have HOPE, we have Alliance for Eating Disorders, we have a bunch of different organizations that promote eating disorder awareness and stuff, but I don't know when it's going to be enough, or when society is really gonna flip the switch and realize that everyone's being fooled. That you think that everyone's so obsessed with looking at the magazine cover and idolizing how beautiful this model is, or how this person looks so fit on Instagram, why can't I be like this person, that they lose touch with what that person might actually be going through, and they lose touch with other people around them. Because let's say, for example, you know someone that's so obsessed with looking fit and looking like they're so obsessed with what's going on in society because of technology and the widespread of information so quickly and so instantly, that they don't really pay attention to the person struggling next to them, or the person that's not eating when they're not around, because they don't care. And that's the problem. That when did we become so consumed with what society wanted that we forgot to care about the people that are right next to us and that really matter? Because and the thing is everyone's scared to come out about it. Everyone's scared to go up to someone and say, I'm always here if you need anything. Because because of technology, and I'm blaming technology a lot, because I think it has had such a trickle-down effect on us as a generation. And going forward in the future, we are going to have a lot of shit to clean up, and I just think people need to understand the vital importance of taking time off of technology and not being so fixated on it. Like, call someone every once in a while. Meet up with someone for lunch. Don't always do it over text or email someone something. Like, if you have the ability to actually have a human interaction with someone, do it. I also think that we have this idea that if we communicate how we really feel with other people, that they'll judge us. And I think then that comes into play, that you need to do what you know is best for you. I personally know lots of resources in the Orlando, Florida area for eating disorder help if you happen to live in this area and need help. So if you do, feel free to DM me or message me. I'm always available to help give that information out. And I hope in the future that eating disorder help is more available to people. So basically, that's what I wanted to say. I will leave a link in the description box below on resources you can look at for more information on eating disorders, like the signs and symptoms, as well as a screening test that you can take or anyone can take that will help someone to identify whether or not they are displaying eating disorder symptoms, like how severe and what they can do to get help. And the NEDA website has amazing resources that deal with like how family can help get through someone with an eating disorder, the impact eating disorders have on your health, phases of recovery, and it can also help you to look up therapists or dietitians or any recovery resources in your area. So that's definitely a great source for eating disorder information. But I basically, as messed up and construed as that whole rant thing was, I felt called to share how we really need to change how we view people and how we categorize eating disorders. I feel like we put eating disorders on the bottom, and we somehow view drugs and alcoholism as this huge deal, and we just let eating disorders slide right under the radar when they are just as harmful in the end as those other two factors. And I think that's really important for people to understand, is that it is not simply just, why doesn't she eat, why doesn't he just eat food, or why is he so scared, why is she so scared. It's deeper than that. It stems to some form of trauma. Maybe it can be anything from perfectionism to trauma to negative body image, negative self-talk, bullying. And again, it's like, don't judge a book by its cover, as cliche as that sounds. And I just hope that through being more connected with people and developing and strengthening that one-on-one connection with individuals rather than using technology to do it, we'll become more empathetic with other people, and we'll be able to really understand what people are going through, and people won't be as scared to come out about it. So yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to share. I'm so sorry if this is like a mess. I will really try as I edit this to clean it up. But if you stayed with me for the 20 minutes that this might be, then I really thank you for hearing me out. I really appreciate it. I love this platform because it acts as a way for my voice to be heard, and it means so much to me that you guys are here and watching this and just hearing what I have to say, and I'm always welcome to hear what you have to say about it. So I just want to thank you guys so much, and I will really hope to make more videos soon, and I'm planning so much for you guys that I can't wait to share with you soon. So yeah, I just thank you, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.